We started with a highly successful television series running for 8 seasons. Then there were 8 spin-offs in production, of which 2 have been officially greenlit and 1 has already seen its first season air. And now, Game of Thrones is coming to Broadway. Over at least the last 2 years, George R.R. Martin has been working on a stage play. And this play will tell us the story of the tourney at Harrenhal, a landmark event in the eventual downfall of House Targaryen. We don't know much about the project yet, but in this video we're going over all the facts that we do know. So let's dive in. Let's start with production. The first mentions of this project were in March of 2021, when it was still known by its working title, Harrenhal. Back then, the stage play was expected to launch in 2023. I think we can safely say that's not going to happen. George spoke about the play on his blog a couple of months ago and revealed the new working title is The Iron Throne. He gave no news about a possible launch date, however. We know that The Iron Throne will be written by Duncan Macmillan and directed by the critically acclaimed Dominic Cooke. A string of producers are tied to the project, of which the most well known is Vince Gerardus, who also worked on Game of Thrones and House the Dragon. And that's basically everything we know about the project for now. So let's take a closer look at the story. Now, I am not a big theater person myself, but the story of the tourney at Harrenhal is genuinely something to get excited for. There are 2 reasons for that. The first is the huge amount of well-known characters that make an appearance at the tourney. Some of them characters familiar from Game of Thrones, some of them characters we only heard about in stories. The tourney at Harrenhal was known as the greatest of its time, and with some exceptions, the entire nobility of the 7 kingdoms was present. Jon Arryn, Robert Baratheon, Mace Tyrell, a young Eddard Stark with his siblings Benjen, Brandon and Lyanna. The entirety of the Kingsguard, including Sir Barristan Selmy and the legendary Sir Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning. And their newest member, who was raised to the Order of the Kingsguard at the tourney, Jaime Lannister. Prince Rhaegar Targaryen was in attendance, as was his wife Elia Martell and her brother Oberyn. And the tourney had a very unexpected guest in King Aerys Targaryen, who left the Red Keep for the first time in 4 years to attend. And this brings us to reason number 2, the story. Because the tourney at Harrenhal was quite significant for House Targaryen and the following war against them. Lord Went, the Lord of Harrenhal, offered lavish prizes to the winners of the joust and the melee, and this was one of the reasons so many attended. But House Went was never a wealthy house, and it is rumored that they had a beneficiary to host the tournament. This beneficiary was rumored to be no other than Prince Rhaegar Targaryen himself, who wanted to gather the great lords of the 7 kingdoms to discuss removing his father, the Mad King Aerys, from the throne. It was this rumor, brought to the king by his spymaster Varys, that prompted Aerys to leave his castle for the first time in 4 years. This play will be our first chance to see if the rumors were true. And if you are enjoying this video, this is a great chance to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1000 subscribers before the end of the year, and your help in achieving that goal is very much appreciated. It was not just House Targaryen that gave the tourney at Harrenhal relevance. With so many nobles present, there are many more interesting stories of the tourney that can be told. Ned Stark's and Sir Barristan's competing love for Lady Ashara Dayne. The 15-year-old Jaime Lannister being raised to the Kingsguard by King Aerys to rob House Lannister of its heir. A mystery knight called the Knight of the Laughing Tree that shocked the nobles by suddenly appearing and disappearing in the middle of the tourney. I am not familiar with the average length of a stage play, but there's more than enough here to entertain an audience for hours on end. But perhaps the tourney's most important story happened at its conclusion. Because after Rhaegar won his final joust against Sir Barristan to earn himself the title of champion, he won the right to crown the tourney's Queen of Love and Beauty. But instead of crowning his wife Elia, which was expected of him, Rhaegar placed the crown of blue winter roses in the lap of Lyanna Stark, shocking every noble in attendance. The laughter turned into deadly silence. Lyanna's betrothed Robert Baratheon felt slighted, and Lyanna's brother Brandon was beyond anger. And with this act, the first seeds for Robert's rebellion had been sown. I truly hope this play is going to be good. Choosing a stage play as the medium for telling us the story of the tourney at Harrenhal would not have been my first choice. But it is one of the most amazing and mysterious events in the last 3 decades of Westeros. And I for one can't wait to see it. So I hope the Iron Throne will become a great success. And I'll be sure to visit the theater for once when it finally launches. I realize this isn't much information about the play, but I'll make sure to inform you guys when more news about this Game of Thrones Broadway production is given to us. In the meantime, I'm curious. What do you think about the Iron Throne? Is the story enough to make you go and buy a theater ticket? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching. See you next time.